Hey Hammer, this is a response to your beer and bullshit. But you'll get a lot of bullshit from me this video, but fortunately I don't have any beer on me, but I did have a little hot coffee mate French vanilla, and Jameson's Irish whiskey. So I have like a little pseudo Irish coffee here. Oh, yeah. That's good. Good at 1:30 in the afternoon. Luckily I don't have to do much today. There's something about mixing stimulants and depressants. You don't ever know where it's gonna take you. Either it's gonna make my brain a lot quicker, or it's gonna shut my system down and make me stumble over my words. And I'm guessing the latter is gonna happen. So bear with me through this little response video. But I don't know, I guess I'll talk about what really got me started on YouTube. And I got back into playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I was clicking through on all the RPG sites or channels on YouTube. And so I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to add to that. So I got into like the RPG thing. But then I found your channel, I found Earl's channel, and I started really getting into the more of the blogs where you just talk about, emotional things and just thoughts that come to you and your different takes on things. And I just really feel that form of communication is just really important. I like how I can use the internet to store where my head is at one point in time, and then I can share that with other people, and I just really like the fact that through YouTube you can connect to all different types of people, and you can share something with them. That way, people that you would never imagine meeting in a million years in countries far away can get to know more about each other, our points of view, and just see each other as human beings. I think it's a really good thing, and cheers to YouTube, and cheers to the YouTube community. Doing a great thing, and I think it's really important, and hopefully these walk and talks and these types of videos really start catching on like wildfire, and we get to know each other more, more as just nameless, faceless people, but we get to see more of each other as human beings that we are. So cheers to everybody. But since RPGs got me into the whole YouTube community, I think it's fitting that I'll share a little story about, how I got into role-playing. And initially what got me into it was the game called The Immortal. I know, Hammer, that you enjoy playing Blackthorn. I enjoy playing that one too, but I played the crappy Genesis version. Then I got a Super Nintendo, but I never played it again with Super Nintendo because I had the Genesis. Maybe I'll try it again on an emulator one of these days. But anyways, The Immortal for Sega Genesis to me was just a phenomenal game, and it was brutally hard, which kind of sucked, because it was just relentless in its attack on you. You would die randomly for no reason at all. It seemed like it was really arbitrary. You step on a pit trap, you're dead. Step on a flame jet, you're dead. No damage here or there, just insta death. And while that was frustrating, it was just something about the atmosphere the game gave you that was just so encompassing, so engrossing, and I have a little clip of the music. I'll play it for you guys now so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so in the background now I have a little of the music going on. And I just thought that the soundtrack was so awesome. That and the gloomy atmosphere of the dungeons, and just the fact that you could die at any time just really sucked me in. I just really made me fall in love with the whole, role-playing genre. Then I had a PC and I started playing games like Curse of the Azure Bonds. I started playing games like Pools of Radiance. The little bad graphics, the little icon, those turn-based games that have the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, I think 2nd edition rules. And it was just like so much fun and just captured my imagination, because the graphics were so bad that you really have to use your imagination more than rely on the computer's visual graphics. And then the Eye of the Beholder came out, and that was the first like 3D dungeon crawl, and after that I was hooked. But those games, while they were fun, it left me wanting more, And then I got together with my friend Mike, who also enjoyed these games, and we were discussing how, playing the computer games is great, but we want more immersion, we want more story. We want to feel like we're part of this world more, not just like we're clicking through avatars. We thought that the video game was it was a cheaper of an experience. So then what we did, we got, his mother was a librarian, and she got a couple of D&D books from the library. And I don't know if you can find them in the library anymore, but she got her hands on a couple of them. And it was cool because we just had a monster manual at first, so we didn't have any of the rules. We just had monsters and the stats. So we would create our characters in our heads, taking things that we got from the video game, and say, I had a sword, and a sword, does this kind of damage. And we would just make up our characters and go through the game. And sorry, my cat is being a little annoying. So we just go through the game, and we would have monsters, scattered around this dungeon. And I'd say, I attack with my long sword, and and I would just do the damage, but we didn't have any to hit or anything like that. It would just, we would be arbitrary at the will of the dungeon master. Mike would be like, you swung with your sword, but it was blocked by the monster, or the monster evaded it. Then the monster does this to you, and you take this much damage. It was a lot of fun. But of course, as we got more of the books and our understanding of the game became more in depth, we started having more fun with the game and realizing that we needed to play with more people. So more people came into the mix, and then we got the notion to have a D&D club. So in our first D&D club, we tried talking to teachers to let us into some of the rooms, but none of the teachers would do it because none of them wanted to condone Dungeons and Dragons because they had some ill-perceived or conceived notion of what the game was. So we were forced to play in the hallway, So here are a group of 6 kids in the hallway, rolling their dice and playing Dungeons and Dragons, laughing, having a good time, playing. And we did this next to the music room because it was like in a little hallway alcove off a beaten path. And Mr. O, our music teacher, would watch us play and see us playing. And at first he's like, what are you stupid kids doing, knuckleheads? And he'd watch us play and he'd be like, I understand it now. It's actually kind of, it's neat. It's like, it's not for me, but I understand the draw. Because he understood that we had Dungeons & Dragons was really these tropes of good versus evil at its core form. Granted, now my games are a little more complex, so it's more about the gray areas and the moral choices. It's not really about the black and the white. Those tropes are still there, but they're just not as prominent as when I first started playing, and it was just good and evil, and your character was just the barbarian, or your character was just the elf wizard, and there was nothing more to your character than that. I think, Hamburg, you mentioned that when you started playing Dungeons & Dragons 2, so you get together for these little sessions, and you just do a dungeon crawl with caricatures, not characters. And then so, Mr. O saw that, D&D was harmless, and it was actually it was a good game because people could get together and have fun, so he let us use his room. And from then after, until the club dissolved, we held Dungeons and Dragons Club in a music room. Well, I think I talked enough bullshit for now. As always, Hammered, great videos. Enjoy your stuff. Cheers.